They were just kids when they met barefoot, running under the golden sun of their small countryside town. She was Ava Reynolds, the daughter of the wealthiest man in the region, always in pretty sundresses, with a laugh that could melt any heart and hair that glowed under the sun. He was Jace Carter, a simple boy with dusty sneakers, secondhand shirts, and a heart too big for the world. But none of that mattered. They built forts out of cardboard, shared ice cream under the porch, and watched fireflies as the sky turned dark. Ava would bring him sketchbooks, and Jace would fill them with dreams. She called him Jay, and he called her Ace. And one ordinary afternoon, as the rain kissed the window pane and her hand accidentally brushed his hand, Jace realized he had fallen, hopelessly, deeply, and silently in love with her. But fairy tales don't last forever, especially when reality knocks. Ava's father, Mr. Charles Reynolds, a man whose wristwatch could buy a house, discovered their bond. He didn't yell, he didn't argue. He just smirked, placed a crisp check on the table, and said, "Jace, roses don't grow in the dirt. And my daughter, she's a rose." That moment, it broke something inside Jace. He stopped coming around. Ava cried in silence. She fought, but her world was built on expectations, on last names, on brand names, on a life she didn't choose. Jace worked a 9-to-5 at a dusty repair shop, his hands full of grease and his heart full of Ava. She stayed behind palace gates, staring at her phone, waiting for a text that never came. 5 long years passed, and when Jace returned, he was no longer the boy who once drew stars in the margins of his school notebook. He was Jace Carter, the founder of a multi-billion-dollar AI company, the man behind the tech revolution magazine covers, red carpets, and Wall Street headlines. But none of that glitter ever matched her smile in his memories. He didn't come back to flaunt, he came back for her. And once again, he stood at the grand Reynolds mansion. Only this time, Mr. Reynolds didn't recognize him at first. He smirked again. "Still dreaming, son?" Jace didn't blink. "No, I'm here to fulfill one. I'm not here to prove I'm rich enough for your daughter. I'm here to thank you for underestimating me. You lit the fire that made me who I am. But most of all, I never stopped loving Ava. I came back to marry her." The color drained from Mr. Reynolds' face. Silence, then a long sigh. "I raised her alone," he whispered. "After her mother passed, I vowed to never let her feel a moment of pain. When she told me she loved, why panicked? You weren't stable. You were still finding yourself." He paused. "But I watched you, quietly tracked your growth. Read every article." Then he looked away. "She cried for you, Jace, every damn night. I hoped you'd forget us, move on, but now I see the truth. I lost, and I'm glad I did. She's yours." Ava stepped out from behind the doorway, tears in her eyes, but a smile that made time stop. She ran to him. He didn't say anything, neither did she, but the hug said everything. The years melted. The pain faded. They married under the same skies they once watched fireflies in. Her father walked her down the aisle, head high, heart soft, and Jace whispered in her ear, "I never stopped loving you, not for a second." Some love stories aren't written in luxury. They're carved in pain, grown in silence, and crowned with destiny.